Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Tours. Thanks for joining. Let's jump right in. We're going to talk about condos today, which is a little bit different, as in previous episodes we've been talking about freehold or houses in the GTA. The condo market has been on the downward trend for over 2 years, and that is on the heels of both the interest rate hikes, which have now come down with the most recent rate cut announcement by the Bank of Canada. But nonetheless, the condo market still suffers. And the reason for that is because it was on such an upswing for so long that prices got away to a point where it just didn't make sense. In short, if you can't sustain the monthly expenses of a condominium, either personally or by renting it out, and you end up in a deficit or a shortfall of how much money you're pushing out versus how much rent you're getting, then it's not a good investment. And so that's been the case over the last 2+ years. And so condos have taken a sharp dive of 25% modestly up to 50%, depending on where you're talking about. Okay, this is very important to understand. The condos we're going to be reviewing are in the core, in the C1, C8 districts of Toronto, the towers that you see when you're flying into the city. And I'm going to talk to you about what I like, what I don't like, why, and make sure you reach out if you have any questions. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. So there's 19, you can see results. We're not going to go through 19, that's crazy. But I did show 11 of them last Sunday to a client that was coming in just for the day. And so I wanted to maximize. Typically, I'll only do 3 to 5 showings. But in this case, I wanted to maximize my time with the client. And one of the things I encourage people to do is see a subset of properties before they make a decision, hence why we saw 11. I had my favorites, she had hers. Let's go through one of her favorites, and let me tell you why I absolutely disliked it, and I made that very clear to her from the onset. This property here was listed many times. Over 2 years, it hasn't sold. It was originally listed actually for $899, and now you can see it's dropped to $600. So that is a massive $300,000 drop. When you look at this building, it looks like a commercial building, and that's because you are correct. It is a commercial building. It's at 73 Richmond. Beautiful building from the outside. It's historic, and there's the lobby. And when you go through the lobby, you basically go up. You can access this unit from the back of the building as well, or you go through the front, which would be normally office areas, but you go through here, and then the residential units are on the lower level here. There's the graphics art building. This is a hybrid unit. You can use it to live in, but you can also use it as it was used, which was an office. And you can see here, there's a little kitchenette area, an open space, which is approximately 800 square feet. It's got its own bathroom, which I'll show you. Let's just go through the pictures. Ooh, very nice-ish. Clean, nice floors, but you can see it's set up as an office. And here's the bathroom. So nothing in particular that's wrong with it, except for the fact that one, it's subterranean, so it's underground. It's essentially a basement unit. The ceilings are high here, but guess what this is? This bulkhead that you see there, that's actually the lobby. The lobby that I showed you at the very beginning, that's caved in. So you might partition this and make it a bedroom, fine, but you still have some things that you cannot change. For example, the fact that you're underground, while you have these gigantic windows that do actually let a good amount of light in, nobody can sit there and look out. Some people like to look out at windows. One of the things about condos is that you're perched up and you're looking out, and people enjoy looking out at things, even if they're not nice to look at. It's just like you have sight lines that go on forever, and that's nice for mental clarity. Here you're looking at what is a green wall today. And also, even if this was not subterranean, you're on Richmond Street, which is a very major street, right, in the core. The second problem with this unit is that it doesn't have a proper kitchen. This is a kitchenette. Nothing wrong with that for an office, but you don't have gas range, you don't have any cooktop, and even if you did, you'd need some sort of hood fan solution, so you need to vent it out, which would be a massive problem considering this is like an older building, and getting the permits, getting the building to approve this stuff, this is a big uphill battle. The client likes this because of its uniqueness, and that's what the client was after, like unique, not a cookie cutter. And I understand this, but that comes with its own set of problems in that a unique purchase requires a unique buyer, which means later on when you go to sell it, you're going to need a unique buyer. And in down markets like we are in today for condominiums in particular, buyers in general are scarce and their budgets are more limited, and therefore getting a unique buyer that's wanting your unique product is going to be that much harder, and therefore it makes it not such a great investment. Mind you, if you absolutely just love it and you want it, that's a different story altogether. So I X'd this very quickly and we moved on. Here's another one. I'm just going to walk you through this property and tell you what about it I didn't like. From the outside, it looks decent. This is a freehold actually, and it's a complex. They have a little maintenance fee for grounds maintenance, but this is the unit here. Sorry, this right here. Okay, so there are 3 units. There's one in the basement, there's one upper level, and then this one's the main level here unit that we are considering for sale. You notice that it was listed, it was $629. I think they've since reduced it to $599. So the pricing is attractive. And again, that's partly because the condo market's on a dip. If you let yourself get oohed and awed, right, by the styling and the staging, fine. And my client loved the fact that it was non-traditional. It's a condo, but it's not. It's more like a freehold. And then you got this wood burning fireplace. That is awesome. I love fire, so I've got nothing against any of that. In the courtyard, there's a lot of things about it that I agree are quite nice. But right away, you can see the ceiling tiles, and that should be your first indicator. Something is dated, right? When was this built? Are there any things that I should know? The kitchen here is not bad, but there isn't really adequate counter space. And what you're not seeing is behind this wall here are the utilities. So there's HVAC and water tank. And so the problem is, even if you want to extend it out and make it more functional, create an island, you really can't. The walkway here is exaggerated in the picture. It's just enough for you to walk by. You're not going to be able to introduce any sort of island solution. Not to mention the kitchen is a little dated. The cabinetry here in the picture looks really nice. When you see it in person, you'll know that it was relatively original. So you'll have to do some sort of upgrade at some point if you want a proper resale value. This area is unusable. So from a layout perspective, it wasn't appealing to me. There you go, you can see it. Okay, so it was the laundry and the furnace. But still, you can't put an island there because you're gonna need access to that space, and that's it. Then there are 2 bedrooms. This is your primary. And what you're not seeing, I don't know if you can tell, but this is, they put like a film on so that it's a little bit frosted, because behind there is this courtyard facing a complex that doesn't belong to this condo town complex. You can see it here, I don't know if you see. You're surrounded by high rises, and I'm sure it's lovely people, but the problem is you get no sun exposure, so it's blocking you. It's darker, and then on top of it, everyone's got all their stuff and clutter on the balconies. In this case, no, but a lot of the balconies did. And so it reminded me of a situation where you got like clotheslines and hangers, and while it's like a community base, it ultimately may not appeal to everybody because really you lack privacy, light value, and there may be noise and just congestion in that regard that you may not be fond of. The other thing, I don't know if you can tell here, is there's an AC unit, which was probably put in after, because when this thing was built, they probably didn't have air conditioners. While it's lovely to have AC, this is the secondary outdoor space in this complex for this unit. You got this gigantic air conditioning unit right inside of your balcony. 1, it makes noise, and 2, it's really unsightly. This is looking at the front. So again, you're not looking at much there. And then this is just the front of the building. Nothing wrong with it. But again, I'm looking at the long-term value of it. Not a huge fan for various reasons that I explained. But at this point at $599, it's attractive enough. I'm sure it'll sell. Let me show you another one that she was very interested in. Now this one is sold conditionally at this point. They do have an escape clause, but we won't get into that. I'll show you why we like this one. This is a pretty awesome unit. Dare I say, it's a sexy unit. It's over 1,000 square feet. The owner has owned it for some time, well over a decade, and did a lot of, in my opinion, tasteful renovations. And it is true to its name, a loft, okay? So this is like a true raw loft. And for those of you who don't know, a soft loft is something where you build it to make it look like a loft. Exposed ducts and raw ceilings and concrete floors. It's a hard loft is a factory that was literally, I think this is the knitting factory, so it was converted from being a factory to a residential dwelling. And so this is what we call a hard loft. And you can see all the exposed beams, the exposed piping and plumbing. They have been listed a few times, but I will give them credit because the owner did really tasteful upgrades. This is a 36-inch range, and for reference, a normal range will be 30-inch, okay? That's a standard kind of width. This is 36. This is something you might find in like a commercial kitchen. And you can see like really sexy kind of integrated appliances, a mix of stainless steel and wood, lots of counter space. I don't know if you can tell over there, but this is a coffee fanatic, and they literally have a hole there. This pulls out and there's garbage, so you can put your coffee grind in there every morning when you're done or whenever it's full. And then this here is an appliance garage. So again, I think it was done really well. I can see why my client was interested in the property. I think it's certainly lovely. The only thing that's a little bit challenging with this one is that while it's over 1,000 square feet, it's got a lot of cool pluses. The 2 minuses is that people who look over 1,000 square feet are typically expecting 2 bedrooms, not 1. And 2, they may not appreciate being on the ground level. And 3, there's no outdoor space. So again, here you're appealing to a relatively unique demographic. However, out of the 3 where you have a unique demographic, I would say this is probably the best one because this is a true hard loft and there's going to be people that love it. This one unfortunately had some trouble selling until they eventually reduced, and at this point it is sold. We'll see what the price is once they're able to release it. Out of the 3, like I said, out of Richmond, Pembroke, and Queen would be my favorite. Richmond, no, this is commercial, plus it's on a very busy stretch of Richmond, way too unique of a buyer set later on. Pembroke, to me, it just not my ideal property in that it's a little bit like the layout issues. Then when you're facing in the back, it's congested. That's no good, no light value. Again, you're gonna have problems reselling. When you look at Queen Street over here, this one is unique, yes, but I think that has the best chance out of the three in terms of appealing back to a unique buyer who may appreciate the hard loft aspect and be able to actually look past the fact that it is on a main floor and doesn't have outdoor space. You can always introduce and section off a second bedroom in that loft space later on. The unit that I actually chose was this one. This is a 1+ den, 1 bathroom. It has 1 parking space and is listed for $609. I felt that, again, given what I said about the condo market, there's a good opportunity to get this for in the 500s, under 600. So that would be well under the max budget. It would give you all the things that you need. You're about to find out why. This is facing total south. It's in a building called 33 Mill in the Distillery. Distillery is a great community in Toronto. Lots of things to do. You're part of a community. Everything's at your doorstep. And it's pretty accessible to the city. So I just like it. I've got lots of clients that live there. This isn't the view. This is a view from the distillery. This is the view looking out from the balcony. The balcony, by the way, spans the entire unit. So you have lots of outdoor space. The building itself also nice. This picture doesn't do the unit justice. When you come in, it's actually quite large. Not large, but spacious enough for the price relative to what you're getting. You're facing direct south, so you're getting good sunlight. This should not be here. This is poor staging. There should be a little narrow island, and I think that would suffice. You need some sort of island that you can also put stools on, you can eat at, but it also gives you some counter space. This is the living space, and it's fine and functional because your television would just go on the other side, and you can't see over here, but there's a closet and a den. Let's see if we can see it in the next few pictures. So you can see your living space. Your console would go there with a television there, so this door can slide behind it. And this is the den. The den was actually large. It was about like 8 by 9, 7.5 by 9. So large enough to accommodate some sort of bed solution, Murphy bed solution, but also function well as an office. So perfect hybrid, not too large, not too small, but just adequate for the price range, very good. And this can actually, believe it or not, we measured it could fit a king bed, but ideally a queen with 2 side tables or a king with smaller side tables and a wall-to-wall closet. But you have this space that basically has a span, like I said, the balcony spans across, it's facing south. You can see the bathroom, nicely upgraded. And then that's your view, okay? So you got the south view, and all of this area is getting developed. Lots of area that they can't build on. This is the parking lot in the distillery, if you know what I'm talking about. This is the green pea there. So you're just overlooking the tracks and into the water. You're getting lots of light. The reason I like this unit is because it's optimal in terms of layout. With condos, what you want to avoid, whether it's a 1 bedroom, if it's a 2, 3 bedroom, hallways, lots and lots of hallways. You're paying for per square foot, and therefore you're paying for square feet that you can't use. No wasted space, optimally laid out, has parking, has a den that's actually usable. And I'm telling you this because there's a lot of condos that claim they have a den, and then you see it's a nook, and it's truly not a space that's at all usable, let alone usable enough to become a bedroom or have some sort of Murphy bed office solution set up in it. So I thought this was a perfect solution for the client because it gave them the opportunity to purchase well below their budget and get into a unit that, in my opinion, is going to probably give them a return that is very reasonable for what they've spent later on as the market recovers, versus a lot of the condominiums that are still quite overpriced and they haven't adjusted their expectations. This is a fair price in terms of asking, and I bet when I see it sold, it'll be $575-ish. Relative to the core, you're getting a lot of square footage, you're getting parking, it also has locker, you've got a good view, no wasted space. These are the types of opportunities you want to be looking for if you're a condo buyer, a first-time buyer looking to get in, or even an investor looking to snatch something in the down market of the condo. Hopefully, you gained some insight and this was useful. If you want to ask any questions about these units, please reach out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next Tuesday tours. Thank you.